Hey everybody, I have traveled all the way to Florida to make some beer with my friends at Third Planet Brewing Company. Today we are doing all sorts of things. We are brewing amber lager, which there is an episode that accompanies this video in the description where Brian and I run all the way through the recipe that we're going to be brewing today. You're going to want to check that out. So a full recipe deep dive that you can check out. Along with the brew day, we're going to do a dry hop utilizing a hop doser so we can be dry hopping a tank that is under pressure. Very cool. We're going to be looking at the differences between using a skidded and non-skidded system. The system that we're working with today does not have a bunch of things that are hard piped. We'll be running hoses to different pumps. So that will be instructive to see that if you're used to using hard pipe stuff. We're going to be talking business stuff. We're going to be talking about utilizing outdoor spaces here in Florida, which is a little bit different than it is in Cincinnati with some of the year-round capacity that you can have from a service standpoint. But anyways, it's going to be a blast. Let's go check it out. Today's brew day is brought to you by my friends at Blickman Engineering. Starting a brewery is a big step. Blickman Engineering is there to help. Since 2006, they've equipped hundreds of nano breweries for success. Their new 3.5 barrel Pro Surface electric brewing system cuts maintenance and saves at least 30 minutes per brew with powerful under kettle heating. From 1 to 15 barrel brew houses to keg washers and grain mills, Blickman has what you need. Ready to go pro? Contact Phil or Tom at ProSeries@BlickmanEngineering.com.
We generally just kind of start with preheating our mash tun. We do have hot water on demand here, which is pretty nice. So we have a couple Rinnai units that allow us to run up to 185, which is really, really nice. We also do have a HLT. We use our hot liquor tank when we're striking with the grain. So we have hot water running, we let that drain for a little bit. It takes about 2 minutes for it to actually warm up.
And you just drop that down to the ground, or does that stay in?
That initial preheat water, we drain it.
Yep.
I guess I don't know what most people do, but that's what we've done.
I've done that in the past. Generally,
yeah,
that's what I do.
We just don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the temp is going to be after it's absorbed with the cold steel.
Yeah, that's the whole point, is dropping that, getting that temp in there. Nice.
We are getting to that point. I think just last week we noticed that our mash came in a couple degrees cooler than we usually expect. Yeah. So it's getting to be that time. I mean, I know we're in Florida, relative to where you're from, and I'm from Michigan. Yeah. So cold is all relative, but the grain is just in general, things are a little cooler in the brew house this time of year. But we're still gonna mash her out. But all that being said, it's actually been warmer the last couple days, so we're gonna strike at 166 Fahrenheit, which is kind of our standard for lagers. I wish we had like a blending station, where we could really dial in that temp, but we kind of just go with what we've got in the HLT and send it on over, and we've found that rhythm. I feel like that's the case with everybody. It's all about just kind of feeling out your system and knowing what works.
I've always tweaked that up and down. I've always had I'll just dial the hot, because very rarely have I had an instance where you can blend the way you would want to.
Yeah, right.
So yeah. So it looks like, is that the mill side of things upstairs?
Yeah, that's our mill up there. We used to, so when we first opened this up, the mill was sitting on the ground right around here. Sure. We had a separate standalone grist case here. And then it went up to the mash tun. The mash tun actually faced that way. Okay. We've done a lot of rearranging in here over the past 4 years. Got a new case to stand on top of the mash tun that saved us a ton of floor space, because when we first opened this, you can see it's a pretty big space. Sure. How do I want to say it? It's not laid out the greatest. Inefficient use of space for sure. I would say, one thing I would really recommend to people, it's tough, I get it, when you're not open yet and the cash flow hasn't come in. I totally understand the need to be as thrifty as possible, but if there's any way to, if you don't really know what you're doing yet, hire a consultant to help you, because there are things that we deal with on a daily basis now, 8 years after, and we're successful. It got us open. It got us open inexpensively. Yeah. You could argue if we had the nicest floors, maybe we never even made it past 6 months. Who knows? Sure. But I really, really wish we had nice floors.
Yeah.
and I really wish that we had arranged things a little bit better than we did.
Sure.
But we were originally just these 4 15-barrel tanks over there.
Okay.
We've added the 330s. We have 2 7s for fun stuff for the tap room, and then little 2 barrels that came over from the original spot.
Yeah, that's what they were mentioning before, is that there was a nano system before.
Yeah, and it's actually up against the wall behind those tanks, so we roll it up and basically stow it away.
Okay.
And we've used it twice in the past 4 months, and that was like the first 2 times in 3 years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's been a process of getting those back online. Definitely, we got that case to go on top. We had to have somebody come in, weld brackets on so we could mount it.
Sure.
But yeah, so basically all the grain handling happens up above now.
Yep.
And that's saved us lots and lots of space. But it's really nice now. It's, you know.
It looks like you use the lift to get it up there, right?
We do, yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah. I've had situations where I've had to carry upstairs and downstairs.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
We do a little bit of that.
Sure,
if it's a bag or 2 of dextrose that needs to come down. But yeah, in general, we'll put it up there.
Yep.
Our HLT is up to temp.
Yep. And then I see we're dropping any remaining water out of the bottom of that out of the bottom of the mash tun. You know, one of the things that I love, I really do love preheating that. I think more often than not, people can forget it's one of the keys to being consistent from a temperature standpoint.
Yeah.
With these things, because I mean, I didn't used to do it. Like, I did it when I was home brewing, and then I started working on a 15-barrel system that I was just figuring out what I was doing.
Right.
And there's a lot of stainless, and there's a lot of temperature to take out of those
that's
things.
a lot of thermal mass.
Yeah, absolutely. A
lot more than an igloo cooler.
Yeah. And so you said the entire brew house is not hard piped, and so that
it's
means
soft hoses everywhere.
Soft hoses everywhere. Yeah, I've certainly been in that space, and it's doable.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It is. I mean, I will say. I mean, if you can get hard piped, I would probably. This is coming from somebody who's actually never worked on a. This is the only pro brew setup I have any experience with.
Sure.
Other than a Ruby Street, which to me a Ruby Street is much more similar to home brewing than this is. I would definitely recommend getting hard piped if you can.
Sure.
And generally the difference is like $5 grand.
And so we're mashing that up here.
Yep. So now we have the start of our start of the mash waters going in. We load up the mash tun with rice hulls.
Okay, you like to use rice hulls with this setup?
We do, yeah. To be honest, with this beer, we probably don't need it, but we've just gotten to the point we really like I mean, for $15 to $20 worth of rice hulls, you can save an hour of labor for 3 people.
Sure.
So, you know, that in and of itself helps.
Yep.
It, you know, can yield you some consistency with your lauter. So we enjoy using them quite a bit. I will say we went probably 2-3 years without using them at all. And the two brands that we make the most of, that impacts it too, is we make a hazy and a Hefeweizen. So those were those mashes and the lauter could be pretty touch and go without rice hulls.
Yeah, how big of a beer for you is Hefeweizen down here?
We've started making other brands, so like a light lager, a Czech Pils. So the Hef has actually kind of fallen back behind those. I'm noticing Hefeweizen's having a bit of a moment right now.
Yeah.
I feel like, which is cool and nice to see. That beer has changed a lot too. When I first started working here, it wasn't a recipe of mine. It had a lot of adjuncts added to it, which honestly it was more of a Belgian wit.
I see,
so, but I've migrated it back to closer to a true Hefeweizen. It's still, we utilize local honey in it, which obviously would be a no-no. But other than that, no like flavorings or anything like that. It used to have citrus peel and coriander and all that sort of stuff. So.
What do you like about incorporating honey into a beer like that?
I mean, for that, the ability to say it has local honey. Sorry, that's That's a terrible answer, but
well, no. First of all, it's
locals love to hear that.
Yes,
you know,
local people love to hear it.
Yeah.
People love the concept of honey and beer.
Yeah,
as well.
We
know
do.
What I mean?
Yeah. So with our Hefeweizen, I'll be honest, it's a negligible contribution. But that being said, we have two Best Florida Golds for honey beer.
Nice.
We're actually going to be brewing it soon with the same honey farm, the same beekeeper. We do Saison, and we use, in a 7-barrel batch, we'll use a 50-pound bucket of honey, like right on the back half of Whirlpool. So just enough to kind of dissolve that and integrate it on the hot side, but we try not to cook off the volatile, the aroma of it.
Sure.
And she's really cool about picking out a fun new blend. She'll put bees in different spots around her property to, get some honey from some really cool flowers around.
That's cool.
And that's, so we're down by Destin. She's up in Defuniak Springs, which is kind of a rural town, about 25, 30 minutes further to the east. Sure. But our spent grain farmer comes from around that area as well. So there's some cool local agriculture in the northern parts of these counties. And once you get away from the beach, it feels, they say a lot, Florida, the further north you go, the more southern it gets. And it's definitely true.
Well, and I think too, like in my time messing around with honey, so we used to do like a honey kolsch when I was at the first place that I went to, and really, the idea is that you're using it as something that's going to lighten body a little bit. And first of all, it's not, unless you're making a beer that's like intensely sweet, it's going to be hard to like magnify that. So like using it in a subtle beer, you know what I mean? Something that it pairs up well with. So, and again, people do just love when they see honey.
For sure. In my experience, you get more actual, what the average drinker thinks of as honey contribution, you get more of that from honey malt than you do from actual honey.
Sure, so like
because honey,
like the Gambrinus?
Yeah, exactly. So we'll work some of that into our honey beer as well. Where I think a lot of times what we get more so from honey is that the subtle floral and sometimes citrus if we're using orange blossom.
All right.
But
so he's going to start dropping through the grist case right now?
So sorry, our manway door is like right in the way of the...
Oh no, it's fine, man.
But so we have we used to have an open type grist hydrator, where it's just like an open funnel, and the grain would just drop in, and dust is just flying.
Dust everywhere.
So, and it's funny,
That's a nightmare.
when we bought this case, it came in and there was no lid for it, period.
Okay.
And the manufacturer, it blew my mind that there was no lid. And they're like, they're like, it shouldn't be that bad. So we wound up buying we had a custom lid made then to go on it. Just grain dust is a mess, man. So, now that we go into a closed type, where our hot liquor pumps into it, swirls around inside there. Grain drops in. With our lower gravity lagers, we tend to mash a little bit thinner. Well, quite a bit thinner than some of our other beers, mostly to avoid over-sparging.
Sure. And you feel as if, so from a water standpoint, do you have to do like water adjustment?
Quite a bit,
down here?
Yeah, so we have that carbon filter in the back, and that's all we have.
Okay. So carbon filtration, that works.
Otherwise, it's city water. It's pretty bad stuff, untreated. So the carbon knocks out the chlorine. But we still have pretty high calcium levels. And residual alkalinity. So Rob is using, we have acid that we use pretty frequently. We used to do the acidulated malt route, but I like just the versatility of having acid on hand. So we use lactic in the mash and in the sparge, and then in the Whirlpool we usually add some FOS to knock down that pH to where we want it. But we did the old Adam Squirt bottle method. That came from some of your videos.
Well, I started doing that, and it's still funny to me. Well, it's okay. It's not that it's funny to me, but it's one of those things where, like, the number of times I get people in my DMs where I have a video or a short out where we're adjusting the sparge water pH, because one, I can't bulk adjust my HLT at the time, But then the number of people that just think, well, just adjust your pH in the kettle, and it's like, well, that's not what actually is happening here. Like, I can do that, but like, I want the pH of the water that's rinsing that grain, right? And it is like, and it was funny because I actually had a guy, it was a pro side guy who apparently has been brewing for a long time. He asked me what I was doing with that. I told him, and he said, all you need to do is adjust on the kettle side. And so I said, well, this is why I don't want to do that. And he said, that's not, he said, that looks like some like homebrew bullshit. and I'm like, first of all, I don't know who you are. Like, like, we haven't met. And then secondly, I'm like, you know, like, I get it. It's better to bulk adjust or whatever. But then I'm like, you know, when I interviewed John, he goes, I don't know where you think that's a good idea. And I'm like, when I interviewed John Palmer, like, he said in my situation, like, that would work. It's better than not. And especially if you can taste it in the beer.
I think it makes a lot of sense. I mean? Yeah, we were having some problems before we had a good sparge acidification solution. There's definitely like some tannins that I feel like we were pulling out of our grain. So yeah,
I remember once.
And our water pH is pretty bad. Like I said, ours is pretty alkaline. So
yeah, it was similar. It was similar to the water profile I was working with in Cincinnati. And I remember I had a buddy come up and I had like 6 lagers on, and I had sample glasses in front of him on all of them. And I didn't even tell him that I was started acidifying the sparge. And the one that was on the table that didn't have the sparge water acidified, he's like, they're all good, they're all tasty, but this one I'm getting like a little bit of tannin on the back end. So, first of all, you hate that it's in there, but second of all, you're glad that it's not in the other ones at that point once you make that change. So
it's funny.
Is it okay if I jump up and take a couple of shots of the kettle here?
Absolutely.
Or the mash tun?
Yeah, if you want to capture some images of 6 15 kilowatt elements in a kettle too.
Is it okay
it's pretty
time
wild.
for you to jump up?
We run our rakes pretty slow. Some people, I don't know. I don't know the right answer to that.
No,
we used to run it at 100. Now we run it at like 15 to 20 power. Ours is variable speed.
No, this is looks pretty normal to me. Ooh, I'm foggy. I'm getting a little foggy. Okay, so we're coming up from here, dropping down here, and then you're using this gate, I'm assuming.
That's our flow control on the grain side.
Sure, for sure.
Our water just kind of is what it is. We don't really have a means to speed up or slow down the water. So we just manipulate the grain to get the consistency we want.
And that's being pumped over from the HLT over here, correct? Yep. And so that's this is coming in from the hydrator right here, I'm assuming. Right here on the side. Okay. Yep. And then there's another hose hooked up to the back over here with the valve like halfway open. What is that? Oh, okay, so that'll be feeding the sparge drain.
Sparge water,
Okay, so mash in here, and then sparge ring over there, and you'll just be swapping those hoses on that from that HLT. Nice.
We did our own hard piping down there after the pump.
For sure.
There's a T where we just manipulate 2 butterflies and redirect the flow. Because there's an integrated flow meter there, and it's programmed on the screen then. So it's reading out, if you see that little green arrow on the bottom left. So that's telling us how much water is in, and below that is the set point.
Nice.
And once the reading volume reaches the set point, it'll kill that solenoid. And so the water will shut off when it gets to the volume we want.
Cool. And then, so how long does mashing in usually take?
What do you think, like 30 to 40?
Nice.
Depending on the gravity of the beer. This one won't take as long compared to like our hazy.
I'm assuming there's considerably less grain in this compared to something like that. Oh, and then over here. Oh yeah, you got all the. So So I've not worked a lot with an electric system. How does that work for Whirlpool and everything like that? Because the bottom of that tank is I can tighten that up. The bottom of that tank, it's not like those coils are laying right on the bottom of the tank. Because you have like are we concave?
Yeah, it's almost like a dish bottom.
Yeah, dish bottom. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have the dish bottom, and then they're a little further up from the bottom.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're able to still get a good cone like in the bottom of that?
Yeah, generally, and I have been surprised. We've messed with a lot of different methods. I've actually found the best success we had was actually starting out a little bit slower and really giving it gradual time to ramp up on the speed. But you can still hear when it's running, like you'll hear those elements rattling from just the works trying to spin through it.
Yeah.
And at the top of the kettle, I've seen other videos of people's Whirlpools and seen other breweries' Whirlpools at Collabs, and like literally there's, it's like whirlpooling from the top.
Yeah.
And we never accomplish that.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of limited. So what it does, I think we talked about it in the talk we had last week, it just affects our recipes a bit.
Sure.
So we take into mind that our Whirlpool is not great here.
Yep.
So we just try to minimize how much we put into the kettle.
Yeah.
All in all. We do have a hop back. We don't utilize it super often, but we could do that if we wanted to with some whole leaf hops on the tail end.
Yep.
But yeah, we just do 10-minute spin, 10-minute rest.
Yeah.
And it does work.
Yep.
Sometimes we probably send a little bit more to our HeatX than some people would be comfortable with.
Sure.
But we have a pretty good, robust HeatX CIP regimen, so I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah.
We broke the whole thing down. Our gaskets were starting to degrade, I think. Okay. It was like our caustic was starting to look kind of grayish.
Oh yeah.
Afterwards, and like that's kind of a sign that your EPDM is breaking down.
Sure.
So that had been 7 years. Yeah. We broke the whole thing down, and I was pleasantly surprised by how the plates were looking.
Nice. What kind of I mean that's always the thing that makes you most nervous. With
clogging those up.
Yeah, definitely.
We did have one time learned our lesson. Every once in a while with hazies, we'll do a chilled Whirlpool where we'll basically run it through the HeatX back into itself. And we did it one time with a beer where we had kind of conventionally hopped it like we would any other boil. Yeah. And so, that wort was full of pellet matter then.
Yeah.
And we sent that through, and it slowed down a bit.
Sure.
So we had to stop everything, flush it out, and try again. We learned to, when we do chilled Whirlpools now, we don't add any hops to our wort during the boil. Or if you do, what a lot of people will do is use a liquid, some sort of pourable, something like that to keep your matter down.
Yeah, and we've always had success when I was doing those cooled, that cool pool thing, whatever, dropping that temperature at Whirlpool. That was something that always worked pretty well, was keeping most of that green matter just out and then trying to load up the Whirlpool itself, or even just a small, because it's not uncommon when I would do hazies to get a 5 or 10 IBU in up front, and then really that's it.
Yeah.
And with high enough alpha acid hop, you're not.
I've never experienced on those chilled Whirlpool. It was like, man, this is really missing IBUs. Like when you add so many hops.
Sure.
We talked about that before, like on paper versus what you actually perceive.
Yeah.
And when you add, 5 pounds per barrel of dry hops on the back end, like there's going to be some, just perceived bitterness that it just exists. And I feel like that makes up for the lack of hot side IBUs.
Definitely. All right, so we're mashing in over here. Looks like are we prepping the fermenter for today over here, or is he working on another tank for another tank? What's that?
I forgot. I was scrubbing that top port yesterday, and I forgot to put a cap back on there. So.
Oh, there you go.
So, yeah, and of course, I also forgot to warn anybody else that I did that. Sure. So Adrian had a nice little surprise there. Yeah. So there. Yeah. So there. Yeah. So yeah. There. So yes, Adrian was attempting to sanitize that fermenter.
Yeah.
And I left a surprise for him. Yeah, so normally we're not climbing up top at the start of the day.
Sure.
We don't climb until it's time to pitch yeast.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
I do see you have, I think that's a 4-inch valve on top one. Do you have a dry hop doser?
We do. Yeah. So we dry hop under pressure for a lot of our beers.
Yep.
So yeah, but in the case of this beer, we're just gonna have just a 4-inch cap on there, not a butterfly. But yeah, you can kind of tell where our dry hop beers are at in the cellar by where there's a 4-inch butterfly living on top.
Yeah.
And those things are not cheap. And the doser,
no, they're not.
And the doser is not cheap. But,
okay, so when I bought the doser, I think it was like $500. And so yeah, I see one right there.
Yep.
But so the reducer, because that's a big.
Yeah.
Is that an 8-inch?
Tanks? Yeah, it's an 8-inch. Yeah. So yeah, I had to buy a 8-inch to 4-inch adapter piece for those specifically.
Yeah.
But yeah, the rest of these come stock with a 4-inch.
Yep. And then where did you get the doser from?
Stout tanks.
Stout, because I know there's Stout, and I know there's Marks has one as well, I think.
Yeah, quite a few of those guys have them now, I feel like.
They're cool.
We bought that really early in our existence, and I'm glad that we did. We had one geyser.
Yeah.
And I will say, like, the geyser I had was, I was just so new that I was doing the right things, but just didn't fully understand how things worked yet.
Yeah.
So I had read in the forums, I saw videos of geysers, and I'll be like, I'll be damned if that happens to me. So I'm reading subreddit The Brewery, I'm reading Pro Brewer, I'm reading all that stuff, craft beer professionals, and basically the takeaway was if you don't have a dry hop doser, add just like half of your charge and let it be angry, and give it time to settle back down.
Sure.
And then go ahead and finish.
Yeah.
But what I did is I added half of my dose, and it got angry, and then it slowed down. So I took it as it's slowing down, so it must be good. Yeah. But I think it literally slowed down because it had foamed up into. So on those 15s, we have only one arm.
Yeah.
So there aren't separate blow off and CIP. Yeah. So I literally it was getting up into the spray ball. Yeah. And into the arm, so that's why it was slowed down, not because it was less angry. So I went and loosened that cap to add the next charge, and boom! I literally had pressurized it up, and it blew out, and it shot up. There's still stains on the top foam of the ceiling. It was pretty bad. That's the only time I've really had a hop geyser.
Yeah.
We've had some. We had a seltzer geyser a year ago. I was adding some D-acid, while. Basically our pH, from what I understand, when it gets down below 3.3, 3.4, if it gets down that quick in the first 24 hours, we add potassium bicarbonate, I believe it is, and that it was super active anyways, and it just got angry and blew out.
It was like a solid powder or something like that.
Yeah. It honestly looked a lot like Epsom salts, but then you add that to
pop off.
Yep. But yeah, we really like it. It's kind of a pain because those dosers only handle 11 pounds at a time. So for a brewery like ours, a 30 will take 110 pounds of hops.
Yeah.
So that can be a bit of a process, but we have a little lifting basket. So you don't have to even climb up in a ladder. One person's on the forklift, the other, and then you have a nice workable platform.
Nice.
So it actually works really nice. You can take your time.
Yeah. That is good.
Go up there with a cigarette and you're good to go. You got all the time you need.
I've had one bad hop geyser, and it was honestly I was working with an experienced buddy of mine, and he's helping me. He's handing me bags of hops up. I didn't have a doser, And what we would do is we only had one arm on it, but we would attach CO2 to the CIP arm, and it would be going the side, so you still had access to the valve.
Yeah.
But we would push CO2 in through that, so it would come out the top.
Yeah.
So we would break the clamp, and then turn the gas on, pop the thing. So it was a two-person project, right? We had a floor person that would hand up hops and handle CO2.
Yeah.
And then another one that was pouring bags. So we're pouring bags, and and then I'm like, Billy, what do you have the CO2 on at? What's the flow rate?
Yeah.
And he's like, same as usual. And I'm like, dude, gas is flying out of it.
It was really blowing dust. Yeah.
Gas was flying out of it. And then it was just my inexperience at that point. And I'm like, all right, we'll keep it coming. And so he's handing me up bags and then like looking at his phone. And I mean, I'm not saying it's his fault, but we're comfortable working together and we're just being a little bit lax.
Yeah.
And then I said, it's coming up, man. And he goes, what? And I'm like, it looks like it's coming up. And he goes, what do you mean it's coming up? And then boom. And it was just soaked and on a ladder and just a bad scenario overall.
I found even for a brewery, so I mean those 4-inch butterflies, and I get them on Amazon. So like I probably, if I were to recommend, I would say probably don't do that. But even those ones that are relatively inexpensive, I think they're still like $100 each.
Yeah.
So I get it, they're expensive, but what I've seen some do, they even make just stainless steel funnels with a 4-inch tri-clamp on it.
Yep.
I would really recommend, even if you're not dry hopping under pressure with a doser, that funnel is going to be cheaper. That can save you some money.
Yeah.
And just dry hopping that way with the 4-inch butterfly, if you do start to get a geyser, you can just quick close the valve.
Yes.
It gives you a very quick shut off.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
That's what I would recommend at the minimum.
So it looks like, okay, so your heat X is on.
It's on wheels. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
I like it. So we're mashing in up here. We got our cellar work going on. We're going to be turning sanitizer on the fermenter. And so you have your heat X on wheels, and it looks like you're getting everything set up on it right now, like from a small standpoint. What's the full build out look like on this?
On the
heat exchange.
Yeah,
so it looks like you've got a temperature probe.
Yeah, so that's just this is the, here's hot side coming in.
Yep.
So this is our wort in port.
Yep.
This is wort out. So yeah, this is where we're able to read the temperature on our wort. This is our O2 stone. We do fresh bricks.
Yep.
And I know there are some brewers, some very good brewers, that don't oxygenate their wort at all. When they're doing fresh bricks, we add a little bit, especially with a lager.
Yep.
But yeah, so sight glass, O2 stone, we'll hook up. We have a very, very, like a 45-foot hose that we'll use for knocking out.
Yep.
And we'll use that same hose regardless of where we're going, because that provides a little consistency with the oxygen staying in solution.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, so what Adrian's doing right now is just running a recirc loop from the bottom of the fermenter up into our spray ball / blow-off arm. So that's sanitizing the tank. And then after about 10 minutes of recirc there, he'll actually take it, hook it up to the heat exchanger, run it back into the racking arm, and then we'll run an extra 5-minute loop through the heat X.
Sure.
And prior to, I'll say this too, so prior to what we're doing right now, at the end of the day, so we CIP our kettle and our heat X independently. And that's generally because we have 2 guys doing stuff, so it kind of frees us up to do that. But after we're done with CIP, we'll run 185 through it until that water coming out of here is reading like 180. Yep. And then once it's clean and rinsed and hot enough, we'll kill the water, and basically we just seal it up.
Yep.
So these 2 butterflies act as basically, like, it gives us the ability to pack whatever we want in there. So what's in there right now is, now the water's cold, but it's been a closed system, and the water that was in there was at 180.
Absolutely.
So in theory, it should be sanitary in there anyways.
Sure.
But the PA gives us a little extra insurance. From what I've heard from a lot of very smart people, like Loeffler, I believe there was an MBA podcast about it. They generally advise that heat is going to be a more reliable sanitizer for a heat exchanger than PA. But we've got it sitting here, so might as well run a little PA through it.
Absolutely.
And what it does too, then it allows us, so after we've done that, this gets packed again, and this hose will be connected to the fermenter.
Yep.
And that whole system will be packed with PA then. So the hose, our block and bleed, everything. So then when we actually knock out our wort, we'll just bleed out PA until it turns into wort. Yep. You know, give it a good 3 to 4 Mississippi of wort.
For sure.
Of wort, and then switch it over.
Yeah.
So that allows us to know that we have PA, we have sanitizer in the whole system up until it gets to the fermenter.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you typically move? Because do you do it distro as well?
We do distribute. Yeah, it's about 50-50. So we're doing about 1,400 to 1,500 barrels in-house annually.
Damn.
And
pouring 14 barrels in-house? 1,400 barrels in-house?
No.
Okay.
That's like what we make total. We
Yeah.
probably do about 800 barrels annually though, out of the tap room, which is good.
Yes. Very good.
And then we'll do another 700, 600 out in distro.
Yep.
And I mentioned to you, we have our best-selling beer, Dankside Hazy IPA. We do have that contracted down in Tampa. So, and the brewery we work with does a great job with that.
Nice.
So that has allowed us to keep up because we only have 330s.
Yeah.
And Destin, Pensacola to Panama City Beach is where our beer covers, and it gets really, really busy in the summer down here. It's very seasonal. So yeah, it's worked out nicely for us.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look real quick at what's going to be happening through here. So we're fully mashed in, and then if I'm guessing, we're going to be dropping wort through the port with the sight glass over here.
Yep.
And then are we going to be leveraging this as a grant?
Yep, this is a grant.
Okay.
It's not a fancy fishbowl looking one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just we'll gravity feed into here.
Yep.
We'll pump into a wort pump.
Yep.
Send it back up to Vorloff. So this is basically our liquor pump.
Yep.
Hot liquor pump. So this was open, and this is what was sending it to the hydrator earlier.
Yes.
We blocked that, and then it was time to sparge.
Yep.
So now it'll go to the sparge ring over here. So for the first part, while we're Vorloffing back into the mash tun, this will be open. We're going back into itself. And then when the time comes, we'll close this and send it to the kettle.
Yeah. Nice.
And we'll transition from Vorloff to louder.
Yep. Love it.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. We have these two pumps. They're peristaltic pumps.
Yeah.
That's a big thing that Stout Tanks did with Brewmation. That's all part of Lotus Beverage now. But they were big on peristaltics, which is kind of cool. It's gentle on the wort, but they're just kind of finicky, and they can be slow.
Yeah.
So we bypassed them.
Yeah.
We had one break, and the service to get it fixed wasn't very good.
Yep.
So we figured out how to make our other pumps work.
Sure.
As they were. So we basically stirred for 10 minutes.
Yep.
After the mash was all together. I'll kill the rakes.
And then how long?
So there's two rings on the bottom of this.
Yep.
One is for CIP, but it doesn't work super great in my opinion.
Okay.
It has like those little static spray balls that don't move at all. And they just clog up with rice hulls and grain bits.
Yeah.
So that's the CIP ring on the right. The bottom left is a wort collection ring.
Yep.
So there's basically like 5 or 6 holes under the screens in the dead space. We're making an amber lager today. So we did, the grain bill wound up being about 93%, being a split of Pils and Munich 1.
Nice.
And then a little bit of a dark Care Munich. I think that came out to about 5%.
Yep.
And then it was something like 0.7% of Midnight Wheat. So like 5 pounds in a 15 barrel batch.
Yeah, it smells awesome.
Very, very small
Smells
inclusion.
awesome.
And we'll see. I try to go kind of moderate on it.
Uh-huh.
In my experience, when you try to do like those color punch grains, sometimes if it's not quite as, because we've never brewed this before.
Sure.
And you can always like have in theory on like Beersmith or some of that other software what color you're going to come out at. But if we need to, I'd rather go a little light. And even during the boil off and sparge, you can even like crush up a couple extra pounds if you need to.
Yeah.
And add it on top of the grain bed.
Yeah.
And you can get that much, you can punch up a little extra color if you need to.
Sure.
I've even done, we talked about Cinnamar a little bit.
Uh-huh.
I guess in a roundabout way, once upon a time I made my own.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I mashed some midnight wheat.
Uh-huh.
Boiled it for like an hour to de-aerate the resulting liquid.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I would call it work because there's like zero extractable sugars
sure.
in there. But boiled it for a long time, let it chill in a yeast brink in the cooler overnight, and then took that cooled liquid and pumped it into a dry Irish stout that had come out a little more brown than we were wanting.
Yeah.
So I gave it a color punch that way.
Nice. How did that work?
It turned the beer dark and it didn't oxidize it or sour it or anything like that. So
nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. And so far with this grant, how far up do you usually fill it before it starts taking over? It looks like there's kind of
you
a
can kind of tell,
right there, right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That also is partly resulting from, so we'll use this grant as a reservoir when we're cleaning our heat exchanger.
Sure.
So we'll pump out of this into the heat X and then it comes back in. So that's kind of the extent of the swirl of the caustic.
Sure.
Probably should have hit it with some acid before you got here, but
Oh, there's worse things. People have seen something like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I do. There's times where I feel really self-conscious about some of the stuff, especially on the hot side.
Of course.
But then our chemical rep from Loeffler will come. He's like, man, this is one of the better places. So it makes me feel a little bit better, I guess. Well, and also makes me scared for other places.
Well, I mean, especially on the hot side, it was one of those things where you're like, oh, well, I'm embarrassed for some people to see that there's some wort standing inside the kettle or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, I mean, that
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
And you want to get that off. You want to get to the point to where you're not losing heat transfer or something like that.
Right.
But I mean, with the electric coils, that's different.
Yeah.
That's a different animal with the
so
coils.
Those have to be pulled and manually scrubbed.
Yeah. Have you,
pretty much weekly. So for us, that's like at max, like every 4 brews, but it's usually every 2 or 3.
Yeah.
That we're pulling them and scrubbing them. And when you have heating elements on a 5 or a 7, it's not too impractical to literally fill up to your elements with like PBW and boil. Like you can run them for a while. But with this kettle, it's so massive. We have to make like 90 gallons of PBW to do that. Yeah. And that's just so much. That's expensive. A bucket of PBW is $180 right now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm sure there is a way we could go to the lengths to never have to pull the elements and scrub them, but it just doesn't materialize that way.
And I've seen some. Well, I'm trying to remember what the layout looked like. I've seen some that actually have like a thing where you can flow through them, and so you could actually put it inside of a. What is it? I'm trying to think. So you would it's a spindle that you would put the probe into, so you'd be able to flow in through one side and flow through it. But those elements, though, they wouldn't fit in. You would need at least at least a 2-inch or 3-inch pipe. That would be my guess.
Those things are massive. Yeah.
They look.
So those are 2-inch ports that they each go into.
Okay. So it would fit inside of a 2-inch.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what that build looked like, and maybe it was.
That's not a bad idea. Yeah.
And
were they able to run multiple? Like, was it a full manifold, or did they have to run one at a time that way?
I'm always thinking of like the most ridiculous looking jigsaw built out thing. But so you have how many in there?
6.
6? Damn, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Well, 15 barrels. I mean, you gotta have the BTUs in there.
Ton of power.
Yeah.
It's funny. After the fact, I talked to the guys at Brewmation a few years after we had been running this, and just talking about some of the problems we were having.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, and these are the people who made it for us, because the original guy who designed out the brewery, we just didn't know what we didn't know.
Yep.
But wanted a custom made 15-barrel electric, kind of on the recommendation of another brewery in the area. But the guys from Brew are like, yeah, I probably wouldn't get an electric like bigger than 7 barrels.
Yeah.
So, because it's true, they're not super practical for clean. Like, I feel sorry for these guys.
It's hard.
I did it for a long time.
Yeah.
Before I had a lot of help.
Yeah.
But it's consistently it's a not fun job having to scrub those elements.
Yeah.
Pulling them out.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have found we've had some success by running the spray ball at different speeds.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we run it at like 30, like really slow 30 to 40, basically like the minimum speed to get it rotating, but trying to get it to rain down in the center as much as possible.
Yeah.
That's been helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a challenge.
Right. So this is building up a little bit. Since that built up, all I did, we basically have 2 ball valves. We try not to manipulate the wort flowing out of the mash tun into the grant a whole lot. What we'll do is kind of throttle a ball valve that goes back into the Vorloff port of the mash tun. So since that was building up, I just just opened that valve up a little bit after the pump.
Sure.
And we try to, right now we're flowing the wort out of the mash tun at a pretty moderate speed. Mm-hmm. If we like our flow and how we're going over to the kettle, we can speed that up as we go.
Yep.
But I really don't like speeding up and slowing down too much on this side of things.
Sure. So it looks like you're fully open on this valve here, and then you're reducing it a bit here with that valve, and then this is feeding your pump over here, which is running back up to your Vorloff, and it looks like that is restricted probably about 75% right now, that valve right there.
Yep.
Sweet.
So yeah, this is our accelerator and our brakes. Yeah. Right here.
Yeah, it's always good to be able to adjust that past the point, right? Rather than cutting down flow to the pump so much.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Can I jump up and take a look at the Vorloff? Right there, returning right back to the Vorloff. Smells awesome, man. I'm steaming. So we've got this Vorloff going. Everything smells good, looks good. I always love getting in and seeing different people's systems. Here's some more footage of this kettle. And actually, let me light you up a little bit. Here you go. You can see that right there. These are those elements that we've been talking about. Is that a float switch? I need to find out what that is along the wall.
Fill the grant.
Yep.
And that leaves about 35 minutes to Vorloff.
Sure.
And by then we're pretty cleared up.
Sure.
Looks like I might be a little bit darker than I was hoping for, honestly. But I think once, so
once you get that water,
I was gonna say it's easy to get scared, but yeah, once we start watering it down through the sparge, I think we'll wind up at a nice, pretty color.
Well, I remember the first time I ran like a pretty adjunct heavy light lager. I'm just using 2-row, and I think we were probably 30% rice. And those last runnings that I'm sending over the kettle, I'm like,
looks like
so
there's water.
There's no water. I mean, there's no color left.
Yeah.
You start getting nervous, and then you check your numbers, and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
I still have enough sugar in here. My pH is still right. Okay, this is fine. But sometimes, and so you see it plenty of times where that first runnings, you're like, Dude,
Yeah.
this is a little darker than
Yeah.
I was thinking, but there's plenty of water coming behind it for sure.
Yep.
For sure. So how much? So it's a 15-barrel batch, and we were talking about the volume of water that we're using on the mashing side. How much? Oh, I'm sorry if I left that up.
No, you're fine.
How much? How much sparge water are you going to need for this? So
We have, and so we run it through a flow meter, so we are actually able to, I know some breweries just kind of go by the sight glass in the kettle to know when to cut it. We have 350 or 360, something like that.
Okay.
And we did, just for reference, we did 270 in the initial mash.
Yep. Nice. And then you do use the spray bottle. That's cool.
Yep.
And you did notice the difference. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's always the hope when
Right.
when you're doing stuff like that.
Absolutely.
You know.
How's that color looking?
Good. It's a little on the dark side, but I was telling it, I think once we sparge it, it'll look fine.
A little dark to start with.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's not bad.
Adrian milled it, so if it comes out wrong, it's his fault. Yes.
Hey, and when it's perfect, remember that.
Yes.
That's right.
No.
When it's perfect, it's perfect.
When it goes right, it's my success. Yes.
Oh, that's funny. All right. Well, do you mind if we run out and check out the outdoor space that you have as well?
Yeah, for sure. Yep. This is the tap room.
Nice.
We do 4 packs to go. You can build your own.
Yep. And you have other bottles as well. Because, I mean, the first thing I noticed was I'm like, oh, there's Westmalle.
Yeah.
There's Whirlpool.
We're beer nerds at heart.
Sure.
And so as much as we love people buying our beer, we just like having good beer in general. So there's some really nice distributors that we utilize for guest beers.
Yep.
And you can see we have Celebration on tap.
Yeah.
Some Toppling Glass, Morning Delight. Like, we like to geek out and get some, some cool stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
In addition to all of ours, but you can see there's just a lot going on.
Yeah.
It's a lot of beer. I think right now we probably have like 14 different beers on of ours.
Okay.
And then 36 taps, slushies, lots of different wine options, lots of NA, lots of gluten-free or gluten-reduced. Underbergs, of course.
I'm gonna have to buy a hat potentially.
We'll send you with one. Don't worry about it. But yeah, we try to keep things interesting. I think some tap rooms, like I've just seen it before, like people who are understandably so, when you kind of get caught up in what we're doing, it's easy to get obsessed with we're craftsmen or we're artists. And if you don't like what we're making, then there's another bar for you somewhere. And I can understand that, but at the same time, you just can't expect everybody to care about beer as much as we do.
Yeah.
So I think it's good to, have a Pinot Grigio for somebody, you know what I mean? Because even if one person in a party might be all about craft beer, it limits their ability to come if there's a bunch of people, other people in there, whether it's a spouse or a friend, if they don't like beer, then either that person comes here and is not having a good time, or it just keeps the other person from being able to come here. So we try to have something for everybody here. So ciders are really popular. We have a guest cider that is one of our top 5 selling brands on tap, period. It's like Third Planet Beer, Third Planet Beer, Third Planet Beer, guest cider, Third Planet Beer. So
nice. Well, and
What's up, Lisa?
to speak.
This is Adam. Adam, Lisa.
Hi. How are you, Lisa?
Adam's got a YouTube channel that he's a professional brewer as well, and he teaches people how to make beer, basically. So he's just nice. Tim and Sue, a couple of our founding owners, they're also part owners of a Crumble Cookie down the road. So
Nice.
there's always a glut of extra cookies. But yeah, so.
But speaking to what you were talking about before, I do think that, because I remember it would be like Founders and Stone, and they always had like this thing of like, we're gonna brew whatever we want.
Yeah.
And I think that's great, but I think people also need to realize that the market at that point was insane.
Yeah, right.
Like, and we can kind of you can kind of joke around about it now, but like, what other industry would you say, okay, here's the plan. Me and my buddy don't have any experience in production or operations. We're going to buy a building in a part of town that nobody wants to be in. We're going to renovate it. It's ultimately going to raise the rent everywhere around because it's going to rent. But then but then we're just going to go and start doing something we don't really know anything about, and it's going to blow up.
Yeah, right.
There's no for us to have that expectation that that's just what craft beer is going to be forever.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? So I do think it's good to think about what people do want.
Yeah, there's a balancing act with us. I mean, I do try to mix in a good bit of us brewing what we like at the moment.
Sure.
Because if you don't do that, then you'll never. Yeah, I mean, when I first kind of took my spot full time here, at the time the beer production pretty much was by people who didn't like IPAs. Period. Like they just didn't like hoppy beer. Yeah. And it was like I started making these hazy IPAs, and I was, told by other brewers around the area that people around here don't like IPAs. It's a tourist town. People want light blondes and light lagers. Yeah. And that's true. Yeah. But at the same time, we, so you have to have some conviction and be confident that what you're making is something that can kind of help steer the tastes of a town.
Absolutely.
Because now this town that generally was considered, not a craft beer town, like they drink hazy IPA and fruited sours and these trendy beers without even thinking about it.
Definitely.
So if you come correct and you do it right, then yes, it can take off and it can shape the tastes of a town or a region or a country or the world.
Yeah.
So there is that element. So I don't want to say purely be a people pleaser all the time.
Correct.
But
correct.
At the same time, you can't be so hard up about it that you wind up just chasing people away and scaring customers away.
Yeah. You've got some classics over here too, man. The thing I just thought of when I was looking at the Orval, there was a place. My wife and I went up to Traverse City years ago, but there's a spot where you could get anything from like an Orval from that year up to like maybe 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, I wish we had some old ones.
And a couple of those. Yeah.
These Jolly Pumpkins are like 8 years old.
That's what I was actually wondering if
these. So I got these. The distributor that was just here. Yeah. These were collecting dust in their warehouse. They sold these to me for $1 a bottle. So, and I feel terrible because Madrugada is a great beer, but this is the sour stout. Yeah. So understandably, like, it's pretty niche. But it's a delicious beer, and it's from 2017. And for me personally, I used to work beer retail, so I was a school teacher. But my second job, I worked beer retail because I just wanted to be around craft beer. And Jolly Pumpkins are, and I'm from Michigan, so it's some of my favorites for OG sours, U.S. side. Yep. And I purposefully would always look for like the outdated labeling when they made a branding switch between like 14 and 16. Yep. I looked for those old bottles because I knew those were the good ones.
Yeah. Well, let's check out the outdoor space some too.
Yep.
I do think you're good on anything. You can walk anywhere you want. I do think that outdoor space can be one of the underrated things for what people can do.
Oh, absolutely.
Or keep in mind with their space.
Yeah.
So you really have like essentially like a 3 seasons type room here.
Yeah. So this was a greenhouse. So our tap room and this greenhouse have actually been in 3 different physical locations.
Okay.
Our landlord found it more effective to pick the whole thing up and literally move the whole building twice rather than tear it down.
Yeah.
So it can cook in the summer here for sure.
Yeah.
But then we have other outdoor space, and this is a much better like sort of in between space when it's colder out.
Yeah.
It's still pretty gorgeous right now, but. Floridians, like the temperature gets below 70 at night, and they've got to have propane burners, right? So. But so we call this area the greenhouse. We can rent this out for different events.
Okay.
This space out here, We put turf in about, so during the shutdown, we took that time to build this, have the stage built, and roll out sod.
Yep.
And we sodded this area twice.
Yep.
And both times, you know, we were closed, weren't able to be open. When we opened back up, like immediately within a week, the foot traffic just turned this sod into just a dust pile again. So we learned our lesson after a couple attempts of that and just put down some turf.
Yep.
But yeah, this space is, you can see balls around, but
yeah.
you know, like our area, it's a very kid-friendly space. It works nicely for this area and for this town. Understandably so. There are some grown-ups who come and I'm never coming here again because it felt like a playground, and I understand that.
Well, different places have different
yeah,
vibes,
and
too,
I wish we could be everything for everybody, but you know, just for this town. But you know, we created a separate kids play area, and it's all netted in because when we first put, you know, the vertical netting, they saw it as a challenge of throwing balls over into here. So yeah, it's, you know, I get it, and it's frustrating, but you know, it really keeps us, like I said, we're one of the busier tap rooms in the state, and I don't know, you can fight it or you can find a way to, you know, try and allow it to be a space for families, but keep it still, you know, not total bedlam. But yeah, we added this about a year ago, just covered seating outdoors, put in a big fan for the summer months. They have these converted shipping containers for extra restrooms because otherwise we only had like 2 toilets for the whole space.
Yeah.
So it's been
So
been
that's
very helpful.
Because at first I thought, I'm like, oh, I think that's storage, but now I'm realizing,
Yep, nope, just extra restrooms.
And so you got all your propane heaters, so people can come out here and hang out. Some bathroom space over there.
And one of the, I mean, honestly, one of the biggest things, it's the least sexy thing of the whole area, but all this space out here for people to park, because literally this whole field out here will be just filled with cars on Fridays and Saturdays. And that makes a huge difference. This is all you
as well, from a property standpoint?
So we actually have a very good deal from our landlord who has a pretty minimal lease on all that space. Our landlord could develop that space at any moment. And that would obviously be not great for us, but we could only understand. Sure. But in the meantime, I think we really have turned it. There's not a ton to do in this town, and we've kind of become one of the things to do. So I think even our landlord recognizes the value to the community that we've kind of turned into. But I mean, business is business. We're enjoying it while we can. And we'll figure it out when we have to.
That's cool. That's cool.
But yeah, we have live music pretty much every Friday and Saturday. So tonight there will be live music, and the place will be pretty packed out.
It is Friday. Yeah, it's Friday.
I know. Yeah, I know. I'm pretty excited about that. I'm in like Tuesday, Wednesday mode because we're brewing, but it's nice that after this is done today, it's like, oh, it's the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, cool.
And then this concrete pad here, we have food trucks come out.
Okay, that was one of the other questions.
Yeah, so we don't have a kitchen. I go to places and pubs that have, you know, great food, and sometimes I'm jealous of that. Like, it'd be nice to have a kitchen, but man, like, not having to worry about kitchen staff and food is just one of the easiest places to lose money. And the overhead goes up, and, you know, the scrutiny of inspections. It's really nice to not have to worry about any of that. And in general, our customers like the variety of, you know, one day you can have Indian, the next day you have pizza, the next day you have barbecue.
Is there are there a lot of options of vendors for you to be working
now.
with?
It's been crazy. Lisa in there, she's our food truck. I mean, she has a whole separate job of just coordinating all the food trucks now. When we first started in 2017 with food trucks, there were like 2 to pick from, but it's really blown up in this area. And we generally are known as one of the better spots for food trucks, so we get hit up by everybody from Pensacola to Panama City. So yeah, there's a lot. You know, we're pretty booked out at this point.
Do you do one truck?
One truck on the slower evenings. So like Monday, honestly, Sunday, Monday, Wednesday will be one truck, and then Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday we have 2.
Sweet.
minimum. And then a lot of times when the weather's a little warmer, we'll have like a auxiliary frozen treats truck, whether Dippin' Dots or some other some gelato truck or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
cool.
It's been pretty wild to see it. Originally none of this has all just been kind of organically built out over the years as we kept growing.
And then you have more seating in the back.
Yeah.
Too, so it seems.
Yeah, we do. I mean, I'll say this, like in the early years of, being on the brewing side of things, selfishly, I would have loved to have seen some of the capital that we were generating going back into brewery improvements, but a lot of it went over on this side.
Yeah.
I think, like, looking back on it now, I was probably wrong, and so I'm actually kind of grateful that we spent more money out here than we did back there. And this is coming from the guy who spends all his time back there. But just building all this out to make it ultimately the thing that allows us to do what we do in the back is a successful tap room.
Definitely. Yeah, a lot of outdoor seating.
Yeah, and so you can see these big heaters, those are mounted and plumbed in with natural gas.
Yeah.
So those run, and that was not cheap to put in, but it's been really nice for the cooler months.
Yep. And so, because it's almost Thanksgiving for those of us who still live in the north. Yeah, this is gorgeous. We haven't had weather like this in a while. But it's almost Thanksgiving for reference. For anybody that's from here, this is not news. I guess it's only news for me that it's nicer in the south.
Yeah.
But yeah. And so you'll stay patio busy through what time of year down here?
Till probably January, February. And I think we cut live music in the month of January too, because we'll bring in an act, but just not many people come. So
Yeah.
So we found it worth it to just kind of take a month break.
For sure.
But we try to pack in some events that might bring people in otherwise during the day. Like we have a fall vendor fair in a couple weeks.
Yep.
We even have like a sports cards collectible show that we did one in the spring and that went pretty well. We'll do one more this fall. Just trying to get creative with ways to bring some foot traffic and take advantage of our space. Cause I could point all this out and be like, just do this wherever you are. And it's not so simple. We could get away with this in a town of our size.
Yeah.
You can't get away with, you can't do this in Cincinnati proper.
Yeah.
Maybe out in a suburb or something like that. But we have a lot of space to work with, which has been really, really nice.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things I like for people to see how different people are getting it done in different places.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because our town is not super big, and most people have never even heard of our town. Like, where the hell is Niceville, Florida? But yeah, for the taproom to be as busy as well-known establishments in Tampa or Orlando or Jacksonville, it's been a trip to see how busy we can be.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, do you want to swing back in the brew house and we can see where things are going with the brew day?
Sounds good. I probably need to check some pHs too, because I haven't done that yet.
So you're checking on some pHs.
Yeah, just calibrating it right now.
Yep. And then, so what's the pH meter that you have?
We have a little Hannah. I have a bench top in the back that's fancier, nicer.
Yep. But this
one's
your,
portable.
Your little mobile guy.
Yeah.
It's a little Hannah unit.
Yep.
Nice. And you're just doing your high and
your
low.
2 point.
Your 7 and your 4,
The bench top does a 3 point.
Okay. And then it looks like you have a density meter over here too.
Yeah,
so
easy
dems.
Yep.
Nice. They're nice things like this are nice to have and actually.
Yeah, of all the brew day stuff, like gadgets, these are not cheap, and we've broken one before.
Yeah.
And there's no like easy fix, so we had to just get another one.
Yeah.
So that sucks. But man, when that was broken and you have to go back to hydrometers or refracts, it sucks.
It does.
It is not fun.
And I don't know if I'm just
the size of samples too. Like we
Yes.
save so much in.
Yeah.
You have to collect almost a liter of beer to sample with a big proper hydrometer and the big flask. So it's just been incredibly nice to, you only need a couple mils, and this does finished beer.
Sure.
As opposed to a refract, which you can't, once it has alcohol in it, it messes with it.
For sure.
So yeah, we love that thing. And of course, Anton Parr wants me to upgrade to a C box or something like that,
course.
which I would love to as well.
Yeah.
But
How much is a C box nowadays?
I think so. The Rep, great company, and they make some really cool stuff. I think they came up with a more streamlined version that's a little more of an economy C box. I think that's maybe more around 10 to 12.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, otherwise it's like 17
Grand.
to 20. Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah.
Just for those at home that might not know.
Yeah.
For sure.
But it does everything for you. So
Yes.
I mean, and if you're big enough, some bigger brewing areas, they'll have where, one brewery will have it, and other breweries, like in Tampa, I know it's not uncommon for a brewery to have a C box, and others can rent it out or borrow it if they need to.
Yeah.
And so you can justify it a little bit easier that way.
Sure.
But we're a little bit more on an island here.
Yeah.
Where there are breweries around us, but we're all pretty small, so none of us are really C box size.
Yeah. All right, so we're just redirecting here, and then we're sending wort over to the kettle right now. Okay, and I see we cleared up a ton over here. You can totally see that. And then sending that through here back over.
Yep. All we did was close this, open that.
Yep.
That didn't change.
Yep. Nice.
And then we'll wait for the grain to start showing itself on the top.
Yep. You mind if I jump up there?
Yeah, go for it.
How long does it usually take before you're gonna start sparging? Because you said you like to pull
it depends.
some wort over here.
It depends on the beer.
Uh-huh.
A lot of times with these lagers where we might have a bit thinner of a mash, it takes a little longer. I feel like generally like 20 to 30 minutes we're sparging.
Yep.
And we generally have laugers. The transfer over, I want to say, takes like 90 to 110 minutes usually.
Uh-huh. The wort looks great. Wort looks great.
Yeah, I was
It's
gonna say
clear,
nice,
pretty
nice color.
color.
Yeah, it's looking nice and ruby. I think once that liquors down a bit,
Yep.
that'll be nice.
And you may have said it, but how much volume typically goes over? Just even if it's a ballpark before you'll start sparging?
So we usually, how much we'll go over before we start sparging?
Yeah.
We're probably sending about 2 to 3 barrels
Yep.
before the sparge actually starts.
Yeah.
We found under our grates, under the screens in the mash tun, there's about 55 gallons of dead space.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, some of the unaccounted things that you can... I remember when I first got into a situation where I had, 2 barrels underneath the screen. Like, that was something I hadn't really thought of before.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Yep.
Very cool. And how far into the build out were the eyes and mouth attached to the...
I don't know. I don't know. When did... Yeah, it was when all the puking mash tun videos were getting big on social media.
Yeah.
But our mash tun wasn't as conducive to the eyes as our brew deck was. So,
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah, we uni-tank almost all of our beers.
Yep. And then we'll
just
see
lots
him.
and lots of cone pulls.
He's getting ready to build that out, install that, and before you had him, looked like he was running some liquid through that stone into a bucket. What was going on there?
We just use 185 from our Renai and run it through the stone. It's already been cleaned, usually the day before.
Yep.
We'll, so that tank had beer in it just yesterday or a couple days ago.
Yep.
Break it down. We pull that out separate from the CIP and put it in an ultrasonic cleaner. Run it for up to an hour. If we just, we'll just keep that thing vibrating while we're doing everything else.
Yeah.
And then, give it a rinse, but then let it sit dry. And then on the, then the day of, we'll take hot water, run it through it just to, I guess, burn it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So we'll heat sanitize it the day of.
So how has that been? Because I've not unitanked a lot. How has that been? One of the things that, so one of my paranoias with it, and I know a lot of people do it, do you ever feel like that Carbstone gets gunked up, it sounds like you have good CIP practices for it.
For sure,
which is a big deal.
I mean, you'll pull them out, and there's a layer of yeast on the top side of it, for sure. I haven't found it to be majorly detrimental. All that being said, I don't have a ton of experience because, again, this is the only spot I really worked in a proper pro brewery. We uni-tank almost every beer.
Well, and it's not that it's a problem. It just might take a little bit different.
It probably does. Time. It probably does take longer. Our beers take a while, but I think part of that is also the geometry of our tanks too.
Yeah.
Because the brights, that stone is right at the bottom, and you can really, I mean, it's a nice geometry just to churn the whole tank and for the beer to roll.
Yep.
Whereas that cone probably disrupts a good bit of that.
Sure.
But we have some pretty robust stones in there.
Yeah.
We've just slowly upgraded over time.
Yeah.
We've learned for how to make it work for us. We do, I guess, there was that famous pro brewer thread back in the day about isobaric carbonation, relying on the right headspace pressure, and then we run through a little floatometer for our for carving to make sure we like to.
Is that what this is right over here?
Yeah. Yep. If you watch like the Brewery Life videos back in the day with Jasper, he recommended something like this as well.
Yep.
So that allows us to know
what is this?
So basically, we'll right now this isn't actively carving, but when it is running, this will flow. This is a pretty low. They make other models. This came from McMaster, as everything does. And you can basically just track how fast you're flowing CO2 in. So that way you're not being too aggressive and potentially scrubbing head retention.
Sure.
And yeah, we've just found going nice and slow creates better foam, better texture.
Yes. Yes.
And we have the time. We're not, we're just playing a different game here. We're pub heavy or taproom heavy. So in general, we have the flexibility to take our time with beers.
Yes.
If you're in a bigger production space, you do not have that flexibility. So I totally get it. If you have to let a 120 rip and carb in a couple hours, like sometimes that's what you got to do.
Yep. Awesome. And you have a filter over there too, so
it has yet to be fired up. We got it.
Good for you.
I don't. Yeah.
They can be. I mean, they can be great. Especially when
I got a screaming deal on it. Idle Hounds, which is a really good brewery. The same brewery that bailed me out with that brick of Augustiner. That thing was collecting dust for him, so I paid him a few grand so I could collect dust instead of them. No, the big thing is
dude, that looks a lot like.
It's big and it's oversized for what we need.
Sure.
And you can see it's just collecting dust. But the big thing is that some of the other models come with like caster wheels. This does not, and I really don't want it to live on the floor.
Yeah.
So I've got to work on getting a platform.
Dude, I think it's the same one that we used at Sonder.
Yeah, this is Pall, P-A-L-L.
Yep.
There's a different. This one I think is for maybe 2 modules. I can't remember.
Okay.
But there's different. They make different length posts. To handle different amounts of modules. We'll probably never have to fill it all the way up with modules, but.
Well, I tell you what, I'm gonna be talking to a buddy of mine. He just did. I always say, filters can get a bad rap.
Yeah.
But I have a buddy of mine who's doing he just did an NA beer. And he's using one of the yeast strains. I'm going to have him on the podcast. He's using one of the yeast strains that you're supposed to only put like a 10-20 wort in there, or like a 5 Plato wort, and then it just ferments it down just enough to make it was 0.48% or whatever, so it takes it down to like whatever. And so we were talking about it, and how we decided to handle it was, he was like, well, maybe I'll just use because it was a 10 barrel batch, maybe I'll just use the full 10 barrels in that strike. I don't know, like when you that much water, that little grain, like you're wondering how to handle it.
Yeah, right.
And so I'm like, what if we just did something where like we're comfortable doing? So what if we made a 1040 wort and made 5 barrels of it, and then hot liquor it back and acidify and everything like that. But so he used a blend of Munich and Munich and 2 rower pills.
Uh-huh.
Not a ton going on grist-wise. Cut it back, got that thing into the tank, it did its thing, and he filtered it. Dude, it just looks so good.
Yeah,
like,
no, we have some.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like there is, so you can kind of like poo-poo it, but you can't. I feel like you can get it bright on another level, and sometimes
Absolutely.
it's just so gorgeous.
Yeah, and again, we haven't fired it up yet, but the thought. So we started making a light lager, and it's going out into distro. And there's been some times. I mean, I wasn't super happy with what we put out into distro appearance-wise.
Sure.
You know, like it was pretty.
Well, it's hard.
It was pretty clear, but not brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that bugs the shit out of me. But you know, so that's just kind of how it goes when you get to the summer crunch.
Yeah.
And that's why I would like to get that thing going. And they're, I mean, some of the best lagers in the world that people, fawn over are filtered. You know, it's not like it ruins a beer necessarily.
No.
And some of the better breweries in the area, like Alga, they make fantastic lagers, and Carson is a huge fan of filtering.
Yeah.
They have a plate and frame. I kind of wish I would have gone that route now, but yeah.
Do you want me to concern with any of these tanks right now, or want to wait till Monday?
Like kegging them out? If you could get that, if you think that DDH dank is not too high, then I'd say go ahead and keg that out. Just so we can get it off those hops.
Yeah.
Speaking of, we have a Wednesday this coming week is Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So, Wednesdays in general, or the Wednesday before Thanksgiving is like one of the biggest bar days in America.
Sure.
And our town, there's a lot of kids who move and don't come back. They go off to college, and they move to Atlanta, Birmingham, New Orleans, Tampa, whatever. So we have a lot of 20-somethings that come back and visit their folks.
Sure.
So it's turned into one of our bigger days for the year.
Yeah.
So we turned it into Thanksgiving, which Dank Side of the Moon is our best-selling beer.
Yep.
So we'll do a bunch of like one-off hazies. We took one where we had dry hop dank, and we just split off 2 barrels into one of those little guys.
Yep.
And added another 11 pounds of hops into that.
Thumping it up, man.
So yeah, that'll be a DDH version. So we'll release that. We have a one-off hazy with I did Motueka CGX because I'm way over on it. It's cool. We're way over contracted on some cool stuff. So at least I got that going for me. But yeah, we have like a boatload of Motueka CGX, Strata CGX, Idaho 7 CGX, and CGX is Crosby's version of Cryo, essentially.
Yep.
But yeah, we did Motueka CGX and Allura, which is a newer one from Hopsteiner. Yeah, I haven't bought a lot of hops from Hopsteiner, but that was one that was pretty cool. Nice. When Mike, their rep, came by.
Nice.
So that one's very juicy and fruity, whereas Dankside has a little bit more of the dimension of. Sometimes I'm averse to the hop profiles that are too juicy. I think it kind of lacks something. I need a little like stank to it or some pine.
Yeah.
So
I get it.
Our kettle's about to turn on.
Okay.
So
I was about to ask. There's a float switch that appears.
Yep.
There is in the back the back corner.
Yep. So when the wort floats that thing up, that's basically telling the system that. Because the last thing you want to do is dry fire those.
Yes.
They'll burn up.
Yeah.
So yeah, that I have a proper flashlight. If you want me to grab.
That would be great. So over here, sparging through the sparge ring, you can see that.
We generally do a little less than that as far as standing water. Like we try to ride right on the grain bed level.
Sure.
So but I think we just had to catch up.
Yeah. Okay, so there's that float right in the back.
So as the wort comes up, it brings that up, and then on the system here on the screen, we have so this is gray. Mm-hmm. When that floats up, it'll turn once it raises it up.
Okay. So when that float gets flipped up, this is going to change color, and it's going to let you know that it's firing up those elements.
Yeah. Awesome. That way we can be doing something else when it starts heating.
Sure. Well, and it's saving you time too.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
It's not like you're wasting time while those elements are submerged. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, very cool. Okay, so right in the sight glass down here right now. Typically
Kettle is on.
we're going to end up going up how far on this sight glass?
We go up if
here.
if we're having a good efficiency day, we'll get up to 550 gallons in the kettle. Usually 525 is where we get to on a 15 barrel batch.
Yep.
This is a pretty oversized kettle, so we can do 20s in a single go and put it into one of our 30s if we need to do that on our more moderate gravity beers. For this though, we're putting it into a 15 barrel tank, so we're definitely going for just we overbrew and generally send about 16 and a half to 17 barrels into our fermenters.
Sure.
And try to get, between 13 and a half to 14 final yield.
Yeah.
When it's all said and done.
Is it fine if I open this up?
Yeah. It's single wall, so just beware it gets hot.
For sure.
Let me know if you need
starting to foam up a little bit.
If you need a light again.
Yeah,
I think Rob already dosed it with some firm cap.
Yep. And then is there? So is this kettle temperature right here?
That's HLT.
That's HLT.
So we're sparging around 170. That's our kettle temp.
182.
It's slowly starting to climb. The elements have only been on for probably 10 to 15.
Sure.
So we've got it timed out pretty well where we're close to a boil by the time we're kettle full.
Yep. Awesome. Yeah, that's always a good feeling.
Yep.
How long does brew day usually take when you start around 7:30 like this? What time are you wrapping up?
I want to say like 2:30.
Yep.
So it's done. We've gotten it down to about 5 to 6 hours if we're doing a single.
Yeah.
We can do a double in like 10.
Yep.
10 to 11, I want to say.
Yep.
Depends on how diligent we're feeling in the cleaning after a double.
Sure.
Breaking down the elements and scrubbing them, that really does add like a solid 30 minutes to the
I bet.
to the day.
Yeah. And what are you using to get those clean? Is that do you use a caustic base, an acid base? What's recommended for that?
Well, so it comes off fairly okay. Like I said, we mess with our spray ball speeds, and when we run it nice and slow so that it kind of just rains down in the center and hits those, like when you actually pull them, it's funny, like you can then wind up spraying it with rinse water from up top with a hose or running it through the spray ball, and still when you pull them, they just still have a lot of stuff on them, but it's loose. So I know we're hitting it with the caustic, but it just needs literal mechanical action.
Yeah.
So unfortunately we do like with kind of a finer steel wool, which probably is not what we should do. I wish we could find a better way, but that's just what we found that works for us. But I know like then you're kind of scratching the steel and probably it makes things adhere that much worse over time.
Well, and it can be too, like, I mean, we've already talked about like the base water a little bit. That stuff just throws scale, man.
Yeah.
It just throws scale, and so
our
it's something
HLT
that has to be dealt with.
Yeah, we have to drain our HLT at least 2-3 times a year and give it a good acid and passivate once a year too.
Yeah. I've had it to where you'll actually you almost build up like layers of eggshell.
Yep. Oh yeah. We've had it. Yeah. This most recent time we did it. Yep.
Yeah. Well, and that's just, I mean, for me, it was doing stuff like that when I just didn't even understand what was going on with the tanks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now, I recognize that if I have a big tank that gets hot, and I have that type of hard water.
Yeah.
It's just something you got to keep an eye on.
Yeah, we do. You know so we'll do high gravity seltzers. Generally, when we make a seltzer, we'll make like a 11 to 12%er. We'll take half of it out flat and unflavored and just put it into kegs, and we use that as a base for slushies.
Okay, yeah.
But then we have a half tank of 12% seltzer, and we'll liquor it down then.
Yeah.
And we'll boil it in the kettle for like an hour to just de-aerate it before we chill it down and add it in there. And it's, even after just boiling for an hour of just our regular water, it is just amazing how powdery the bottom of our kettle is. It is chalky.
When you realize how much of that is, so sometimes you're like, all right, so how much of this is cooked wort protein and how
Yeah,
much of this is
honestly,
the water.
yeah, I'm sure there's a good bit in our trube pile that
Yeah.
is just straight mineral.
Yeah, yeah. It
Lots
happens.
and lots of calcium.
Yeah.
And that's why we kind of have to be careful with our water additions when we're chasing our chloride and our sulfate parts. You still have to be mindful about you can't just get there with calcium chloride and gypsum.
Yeah.
So splitting it up with Epsom salts and other means to get what you want. And I would love to do more sodium chloride to get our chloride ions, but our water also has a fair bit of sodium in it already. So it takes, 20 grams of 20 grams of salt in our mash on a 15-barrel batch. I've noticed it. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So granted, I'm looking for it.
Sure.
So we're maxed out at 10 to 15 grams of salt that we can add to a 15-barrel batch.
Yeah.
Just purely for chloride without tasting the salt.
For sure.
This is more and this is probably more of what the color's going to wind up. Since we're kind of halfway between sparge now coming and runnings.
Yep. Got caught on my lanyard. Yeah. That's nice. That's nice. And then you can see this grant here. Very cool. Heck yeah.
Kettle smells good.
Yeah, it does. Even the grant smells good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. After the talk we had last week, I kind of went back and forth on what I wanted to do recipe-wise. Because this is we're almost making like a session strength fest beer.
Yeah.
With a little bit of that, with a little extra color punch with that midnight wheat.
Yep.
But flavor-wise, it'll almost be more like that with all the Munich malt that's going in and Pilsner.
Yeah.
And dark Care Munich. Because there's other, I think, sort of like working in congruence with other beers that we already have. Because, you want to be efficient with your purchasing. Sure. And you don't want to have too many new, unique ingredients with a new beer if it's something that you plan on making often. So, but all that said, I want it to be kind of unique for the winter, and who knows, maybe down the road we switch from Pilsner and Munich to just like a 2-row base, and then maybe a darker crystal malt as opposed to the dark Care Munich.
Yeah.
But I wanted it to have a little bit more of that full malty base for it this go around, and we'll see how we like it, if we really love it, which I think it's going to be a very tasty beer.
Yeah, absolutely.
But and you got to see how the taproom receives it too.
Yeah.
If they need it a little more, smooth, I guess, then we'll see what we got to do.
Yep.
I'm almost to a fault. I mess with beers all the time, our beers, and a lot of times the customer might not notice everything that I do, but with our Czech Pills. It got best in show at Best Florida this fall for the Oktoberfest competition, and I'm still messing with that beer,
Yeah.
So it's hard to help yourself, but I think it's part of what allows our beers to improve over time.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, that means we're not probably as consistent as, from a production standpoint, some production brewers would probably hate how much we tweak our stuff.
Well, and there is something to being able to dial things in.
You
know what I mean? For
right.
Sure.
So we're all, generally the recipe doesn't get touched too much. Really what we're tinkering with is the water chemistry and the amount of acid and when we acidify.
Yeah.
Different things like that.
Yeah.
Spunding, fermentate on the cold side, timing out when we spun, what we spun to, different temperatures. That's more of where our tinkering occurs nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great place. I was going to ask if you spun it all.
Yeah, we have
what do you typically do? So will this lager that we're making today be spunded?
Yeah, probably. We have the open valves to make it happen. A lot of times I try to let it get to about 50% attenuation, and then ramp it up to like half a bar, like 7 or 8 psi. and let it ride there until it's, you know, maybe like a couple degrees Plato to go.
Sure.
And then ratchet it up. Unfortunately, these tanks, the nice thing about our Abes is they're rated to 2 bar, and so the PRV doesn't pop off until that high. So you can, with those Abes, you can truly fully carbonate a beer without having to use the stone at all.
Oh, interesting.
And so we'll do that sometimes. A lot of times, I mean, we'll still put the stone in there in case we wind up needing it.
Yeah.
But oftentimes,
wow, they're rated that high. That's cool.
Yeah, the Abes are 30, but you know, most tanks are going to be 15 psi.
Yep.
So that PRV will pop off at like 14 and a half.
Sure.
So, you know, but still, we'll probably get to about 2.1 volumes.
Yeah.
Without any help from the carb.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
again, I'm just a big fan of like texture of natural carbonation or slow carb versus, you know, just letting those bubbles rip.
Yeah. Okay, so we're wrapping up sparge. Got the runnings to the point where they didn't want to pull anymore, so we're going ahead and dropping that out.
And we generally space it out where we're getting to where we want in the kettle. Pretty much matches up to when we're getting murky in the sight glass.
Yep.
So we generally don't run a lot of wort into the drain.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
That's always a good thing.
Yeah, but what we do generally run into is the need to liquor down by a little bit inside in the kettle.
Sure.
To get where we want.
And when you say liquor down, what do you mean by that?
Just add a little hot water to it to get to the gravity that we want. So we may not have pulled the liquid that we needed in order to get to the gravity we want pre-boil.
Yep.
So we'll add a little extra water to get where we want to. And that can bypass some of that tannin extraction you might get on the tail end of sparge anyways.
Yep. And that's what you're pulling that out of the hot liquor tank?
Yep, yes. Well, we'll run it through our Renais, just that hot water hose, which is 185.
Sure.
But yeah, we've gotten down pretty pat, like getting pretty good at our volume versus when the sparge is done.
Yep.
And it's helpful with that integrated flow meter on our brew deck as well.
I bet. How many bins will it take to knock it out?
I mean, honestly, we could probably fit it all into one, but our farmer likes it split between a couple, so they're a little lighter to handle for each one.
Sure.
For this one especially, it's pretty low gravity, so it could fit into one, but we'll do 2.
Sure. Cool.
Helps balance out their trailer.
Absolutely. And then how close are you on your kettle?
We were thinking 525 to 550. Well, it looks like we're at like 520.
Nice.
In the kettle.
And then how close to boil?
We're at 211 point something.
Nice.
So yeah.
And then so how long till a hop addition?
It's going to be a little while. So we're doing a 75-minute boil. We're doing a slightly extended boil from the Pilsner malt.
Yep.
I know some don't do that with general success.
Yeah.
I'm scared, so I don't know.
You and me both.
Yeah.
You and me both.
So yeah, we'll do an extended boil, just 75 minutes, and then I think our first hop addition doesn't go in until 30 or 40.
Okay. Nice.
Doing 30 minutes, we're going to do a small addition of Warrior.
Yep.
Just to chase some straight IBUs and keep our kettle matter down to a minimum.
Nice.
And then we'll add, again, we're not going for super pronounced hop presence on this.
Yep.
So we're going to boil some Saaz at 10 minutes, and then we'll do another Whirlpool addition at 0.
For sure. Love it. Up there?
Yeah, go for it. We've got, looks like we still have about 18 minutes before we add hops.
Nice. So just breaking down this mash tun, they're able to pull those 2 side panels really easily and just get a good rinse on that thing, on the cleanup on this. We've got the kettle going at full boil. We are
happened here?
not to the point where we are going to be adding hops just yet, but that's going to be coming up. This is just going to be B-rolled stuff anyways.
Yeah,
So there you go.
I usually just kill the elements
Yep.
for a minute so it doesn't get too angry with me.
Sometimes it does want to kick up though. So you just cut that element right off.
It does a pretty good job of immediately stop in that roll.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty instantaneous, yeah.
And give it about 20.
All right, so we just killed the boil. We had a small acid addition in there to knock that pH down around where they want to for this amber lager. A little bit of Whirlpool addition of Saz in there as well. Before too long, we are going to be knocking out this thing through the heat-X, and I believe we are going to be following them along as they dry hop a beer under pressure utilizing a hop doser, one of my favorite things. So anyways, we will catch up with you here in just a minute. So just rigging up the water set up for knocking out. So does this run 100% on cold liquor tank water, or is there a city source as well?
No, 100%.
100% CLT. I'm assuming the groundwater gets warm here.
Yes.
Yeah.
This time of year it's not so bad, but summertime,
Yeah.
if we tried to run groundwater, we'd be knocking out at 90.
Yeah. I believe it. I believe it. Yeah. Okay, so what we're looking at here is, because this is not a skidded system, we're going to see that everything is moved around by hoses and pumps that are not built into the system. And so prior to this, we had this pump right here that was driving our Whirlpool. You can see our tangential pump right here that's going in along the side of the tank, and we're drawing off from the bottom. And so now that the Whirlpool is done, that is now attached over here to the heat exchanger, which will run through, now hooked up to O2, which will run through all the way over here with our block and bleed over here. Once the Whirlpool rest is done, we're going to knock that out. And yeah, and then we're going to do the dry hop.
Like to see our cold liquor flowing a little bit ahead of time, just so we don't have any like cavitation issues. We just know we got the flow we want.
Here you go, man. You can clip that on.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Are you good? Nice. So yeah, we've got, we'll be able to see this work knock through here. Boom, baby. See? There you go. And then we're going to track this right over here. See that turn to work there. Love it. Then we're going to be able to track this temperature right over here as we're knocking out. Love it. O2 going through that stone. That hot water coming off and back through to the hot liquor tank. Love it. How long does knockout usually take when you're knocking through the heat exchanger?
Like 30 to 40 minutes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on, sometimes if we're doing like a pitch with lager yeast that has been harvested, we want to go straight to that temperature that we're at.
Yep.
So we'll generally take a little bit longer to knock out because we're trying to cool that work down a bit more.
Sure.
Since we're pitching fresh bricks with our lager yeast, we tend to knock out straight at ale temps.
Yep.
Get it pitched,
Nice.
and let it acclimate and kind of get warmed up at the warmer temp, and then once it shows activity, we'll bring it down to where we want it to be.
Sure. Love it.
But yeah, it looks like we're knocking out around 68 Fahrenheit right now.
Yeah, we were talking about before CLT tank as a CLT water as opposed to city water, and I never needed a CLT back in Michigan.
Yeah,
You know,
right. I'll bet. Yeah. So
different.
did you even need 2-stage in Michigan, or did you just run straight against?
The initial one I had was 2-stage, but we never really used it.
Really?
Yeah.
Even in the
So,
summer?
well, it was plumbed for glycol to have the second stage, but then we would just bypass that to run water through the whole thing. Yeah.
Wow.
We wouldn't even need that. It was cold up there, man.
Yeah, I guess. Stuff you never think about.
I know. Yeah, it's pretty slick.
Yeah.
It's pretty slick. So we're going ahead and getting that Augustiner based or type lager strain in there. We talked about it before. Just a great strain. We love using it. I think we were chatting earlier about
we had
just
enough
sometimes
to make
how
it to
we can get so focused on lagers being so clean, and you can make a clean lager with the Augustiner strain, but it has nice full round character to it. Very supportive of malt, I think. So we're getting everything ISO'd up there, both the yeast packages, Ziploc or not Ziploc, you know what I mean. Containers ISO'd up, sliced up, and then we're going to be dropping them in the top of the tank. This is going to be done as we are transferring wort in there, so it's going to mix well. We do have a small amount of oxygen running through here. Brian and I were talking about how you know, a lot of times dry yeast, you really don't need it, but sometimes they'll use a little bit on lagers, things like that. You know, especially as somebody that came up with liquid pitches, I always feel comfortable as well giving some oxygen to the dry strains. So yeah, it is an interesting thing. But anyways, yeah, we're knocking this whole thing out. And I do think it's interesting to see what like the layout looks like through a non-skidded system, right? A lot of folks have skidded systems, some don't. And this is the kind of layout that you have when everything is not hard piped in, okay? Yeah, getting that yeast in there, taking some bites of Chipotle, and doing our thing. We're checking pHs, and then we're gonna be doing a dry hop after this. So stick with it. Yeah, you can see that caked up pretty well in the center. Just really well behaved today, huh?
And we just use oxygen to drain out the. There's about
kind of push that through.
There's about 4 gallons, almost a sixtel, living in this hose.
Yeah.
So we push the rest in with oxygen.
Yep.
I've seen some breweries who are really smart go with the block and bleed all the way at the kettle and run water to chase it.
Yep. Yep. All different options, that's for sure. All right, well, cool. And then this is this tank right here the one that's going to get dry hopped?
You can see it's getting a little frosty because it's been soft crashed.
Yeah.
We soft crashed down to 50 Fahrenheit before we dry hop just to avoid hop creep.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll pull the cone on it quick just to get as much yeast out of the bottom as we can, and then we'll dry hop it, and then we'll recirculate it tomorrow probably.
Love it.
All off.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I've not seen this before. So we're gonna be using this cage basket hooked up to the forklift. It's secured in the back. It's got rollers underneath it generally, so you can kind of roll it around. But you can actually strap in and do things in a safer manner with it. We're going to be using that basket in order to do this pressurized dry hop with the dry hop doser. All right, so this is something I need to check out because I have not really seen it before. This is Beerzyme hop flower. Release of glycosidically bound hop aromas. Me trying to read science words. I'm gonna have to dig into this. Adding it along with the dry hop. I'm supposing to help maximize extraction or infusion of those flavors into the beer during your dry hop. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about it.
All right, here we go.
All right, we've got all of our tri-clamps and gaskets.
Pressure gauge?
I have a bottom-mounted pressure gauge.
Nice.
We have a CO2 line.
Yep.
Made sure that the pressure was nice and high on it.
Yep.
Got our enzyme. Scissors to cut the bags. Bottle of ISO that will inevitably leave up here.
All right, sweet. So we got the full build out for everything.
That's pretty good, Rob. You can bring us forward. We might be at a little
ladies
bit
and
of an angle.
gentlemen, not everybody's tank tops are going to be as clean as this. We're setting records today here at Adam Makes Beer with the cleanest tank tops. You gotta love them, man. Yeah, these look great, dude.
You can keep coming forward. Very graceful.
You have some good storage there above the cooler. That's a good use of space.
Yeah. Yep. It sometimes I wish we didn't have so much wood in here.
Yeah.
For how much moisture there is.
Oh yeah.
But all in all, yeah, no, it's great. I mean, again, we have such a busy tap room that the majority of that storage is tap room stuff in the backside. Obviously, all of our grain takes up the front part.
Yep.
But yeah, glassware, all the, paper products, cups, all that. If I grab that CO2 line behind you.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Coming up over your head. Whoop, sorry.
Good.
Whoop.
Did you ever watch the show The Wire?
Oh yeah.
So there was when one of Omar's lines was something along the lines of "It's all in the game" or something like that. Basically, it's just a part of it.
Yep.
There used to be that used to be one of our running jokes in the brewery, like when we'd be training somebody, and they would accidentally like spray you with the hose or like spray your boot or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like it's all in the game.
All in
man.
the game.
Like, this is
All in the game, baby.
This is literally what's gonna happen here. We're gonna get sprayed with some stuff. It's gonna be all right.
So this is that enzyme. I'm just slowly starting to purge this already as I'm building it out. Doesn't take much. We add about 20 milliliters per barrel.
Yep.
So for a 15 barrel, that's 300 mils.
Sure. So this is interesting to me because this one is a little bit different. So this one, the one that I was used to, I believe the port is up higher on it, and I actually like that the port is lower
more
on this one because
purge.
more from the bottom in order to get that purge. So, but still like an 8-inch port up here would be my guess.
It's something excessive. Whatever it is, I haven't been able to find replacement gaskets and tri-clamps because this gasket, unfortunately, it's easy at this size to get like stretched out.
Yeah.
So it very rarely creates a true seal.
What about?
So you have to tolerate a little bit of a leak, I guess.
What about brewery gaskets?
Yeah, I haven't checked that out. That's one that I don't.
I've gotten some extras from there because especially the silicone one.
Okay.
They're so floppy.
Right.
That.
Switch to like EPDM.
They're hard to work with sometimes.
Yeah.
And so I was able to switch them to the. One is a wrap group and one is the kind of, it's EPMD or EMPD, whatever it is.
Yep.
One of them is a gasket, one of them is a wrap group.
Gotcha.
So, but I was able to swap those out with that. It's way easier to work with than the silicone one. Because there's so much play in them.
I can imagine. Yep. Oh yeah, for sure.
Nice.
So this way we'll know, hey Rob, do you mind letting me know what the pressure in the tank is? It's good to have a little reference point. We know what we need to overcome up here in order for it to drop. 9? Okay, cool. And this is only rated to 15, so we don't want to get too crazy with it.
Yeah.
Guess I should make sure we... Okay, that's got to be purged pretty well. All right.
Drop
And
it in.
it might be hard to tell from the camera, but there was definitely a little bit of a hiss coming out of the front. But as long as the CO2 is pushing hard enough, it's going to overcome it in the time that we need.
And then drop that pressure down, and then you can start swapping in those hops, huh?
Yep.
Nice.
And unfortunately, one bag at a time.
Yeah.
But these are just some Columbus T90s. We contract these through Crosby.
Yep.
I really like Crosby's classic C hops. They tend to have a nice brightness to them.
Yeah.
And they're picky about their pick window too with Columbus, so it comes out a little more citrusy than some others might, while still being nice and dank.
Yep. This one has a little bit more leeway in it than, because that was 11 pounds, right?
Yeah.
Some of the other one that I was using did not have quite that much headspace in there. That's nice.
Gotcha.
So this one even holds a little bit more than the one that I was using.
Gotcha. All right, crack that. Like to run it slow. Purge for a bit. Let that pressure build.
Yep.
And then open.
Yeah.
And you can hear it just gently kind of vibrate. You can hear them sliding down. It's pretty cool. So this is, I mean, compared to doing it the old-fashioned way, this definitely takes longer. It's more effort, more setup, more teardown, but I just really like the control of getting as much oxygen out. You don't have to worry about the beer krausening up and, you know, blasting out, or even if it doesn't blast out of the tank, this way you don't have to worry about it throwing half of your dry hop on the walls of the tank, you know, rather than being in the beer.
Yeah.
This is,
now, and I mean, even just the peace of mind.
Right, exactly. I don't have to worry about a geyser.
Yeah, like for me, like my stress level using something like this is so much lower, and maybe I'm just too much of a stressed dude. But this is where it's at.
Right. And this is Citra Cryo. You can kind of tell from the hops if you haven't worked with Cryo before. It's a little more brownish yellow.
Yeah.
Because they've stripped out more of the green leaf material.
Yeah. Man, is that aromatic.
Concentrated lupulin. Yep.
Yeah. That stuff is something, dude.
Yeah, that smells pretty awesome. Smells expensive. Because it is. Sometimes with cryo, they're just kind of stickier pellets. So sometimes I struggle. Sometimes the cryo doesn't want to drop through the 4-inch butterfly like the others do.
Did you bring a backup 4-inch gasket up here? Is that what's in the?
There is one down there. Yeah.
See, that's a smart move right there. That's a veteran move. Always bring an extra. The worst thing is to go through all this and then be like, oh no.
Yeah.
I dropped it, and now what?
Yeah. Simcoe T90s. This time of year, I always think about the, have you seen the Hallmark movie meme of like hops as Hallmark movies?
Yeah, yeah.
Because they're all the same damn thing, basically. Featuring Citra, Mosaic, and Simcoe.
Yeah.
So we're making another one of those.
Yeah. Love it. That's so good.
Yeah.
And that was your Mosaic, you said?
That was Simcoe.
Oh, Simcoe.
Yeah. And then Mosaic, I think, is the last bag I have. Mosaic. I've noticed a pretty big uptick in the past year with the Mosaic that we got. It's like pretty dank in the past year or two.
Yeah, I would say that.
Which for me has been kind of a pleasant shift.
Yeah, it's interesting how harvest window and all that stuff plays such a big role in those things.
Yeah, and we're not big enough to lot select on things like Mosaic. So we're kind of, yes, we contract it, but we're a little bit at the whims of how it all turns out. So yeah, sometimes we're going to experience some variation in our hazies that, you know, somebody else who's contracting more. One thing that I would say that would be wise to anybody thinking about contracting or building out an IPA program is pick a few vital ones and try to use those often, so that way you can build up a crucial quantity so that you can actually lot select and have more control over that.
Yeah.
All right.
Love it.
So yeah, that's it. Break down the CO2.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us today. That's going to be a wrap on today's Brew Day. I appreciate all your support with comments, questions, likes, and shares, and everything like that. Go ahead and check out the Adam Makes Beer podcast. Give my friends at Blickman some love. Tell them thanks for sponsoring me. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Cheers.